Hi, I'm Pat Southward with the League of Women Voters of Seminole County, and I'm here today to tell you about the League's Service for Voters. The League is a nonpartisan, nonprofit, all-volunteer organization devoted to voter service, to giving people the information they need to make intelligent, informed choices when they are voting. This morning I particularly want to talk about our publication, The Florida Voter, which is a guide to the amendments, the constitutional amendments that are on the ballot. Senators come and go. They're here this year, they're gone after a term or two or three. But constitutional amendments are the foundation of our organization, of our government. The First Amendment is to repeal public financing of campaigns. The voters of Florida passed an amendment to the Constitution in 1998 providing for public financing of campaigns. The goal was to begin to rein in the cost of campaigns. If the government provided a certain amount of money, then candidates pledged themselves not to spend money above that limit. Those limits have been raised almost every year since, and now any glance at the morning paper will tell you that campaigns have become tremendously expensive. Some people think in this day of budget crises that we need to save our money, spend public money on other things, and other people say no, we need to try to rein in campaign financing. The Second Amendment is a homestead exemption credit for military personnel serving on active duty. The arguments in favor of that are pretty obvious, to help our servicemen while they're overseas. The argument against it is twofold. One, that it's going to cost local governments money. Then we come to the meat of the argument. There are the next four amendments that I'm going to talk about are controversial. Amendment 4 is sometimes called hometown democracy. Many people feel that local governments have been too accommodating to developers. The arguments for it are, I think, pretty obvious. Florida has been going through a real development spurt over the past 10 or 15 years. The arguments against it are, again, a little more complex. Many people are concerned about a political campaign to change land use plans. It's spending money, it's expensive. People are going to be asked to decide on complicated issues in a yes-no format. And perhaps people would be better served by addressing their concerns by electing the representatives that will carry out their wishes in regard. The next two amendments, Amendments 5 and 6, are very similar. In fact, they're identically worded. But Amendment 5 deals with state legislatures, and Amendment 6 deals with the U.S. House of Representatives. Because the Florida Constitution requires that each constitutional amendment deal with a single subject, two amendments were necessary. These amendments are sometimes called the Fair Districts Amendment. These amendments would set standards for the drawing of districts. It would require that districts be compact, contiguous together, and would, to the extent possible, follow the lines of existing city, counties, and or natural boundaries. The arguments against this are primarily two. One, that minorities would be less well represented than they are now when a minority group can be contained in a district despite living in different communities or living far apart. The second is that these redistricting plans will be litigated. The last amendment on the ballot this year, on the statewide ballot, is to revise the class size amendment. So a vote in favor of this amendment would have the current class size requirements be averages, but it would allow larger classes. Finally, I'd like to take a minute to talk about another school-related issue on your ballot. The Seminole County School Board voted this summer to extend 1/2 cent sales tax for the schools. We are currently paying in Seminole County 7%, 7 cents on every dollar in sales tax. 6 cents goes to Tallahassee. The 7th cent, which was a local option, has been in effect for about 10 years. Right now, 1/4 of that 7th cent goes to the schools, and the other 3/4 goes to counties and local municipalities. When the tax was passed 10 years ago, there was an expiration date, and this is the year that the 7th cent expires. The school system, as everyone knows, is facing dire budget consequences. The state is also facing a dire budget. In fact, it has been for several years. The money for capital improvements, that is building schools, improvements, modernizing, that sort of thing, has come largely from Tallahassee, but that's been dropping and is still dropping. What the school board is asking the citizens to do is to extend 1/2 of that 7th cent tax so that it can make improvements, particularly roofs, I understand, are a big issue, and so is technology. Technology can be very expensive to install in the classrooms. You can find more information about that by going to the Seminole County School System website. Well, I want to thank you for watching this and for your willingness to become an informed voter. It's so important. It's the foundation of democracy, is that people make intelligent, informed choices. And thank you for watching. Let me again invite you to visit our website at voteanywhere.org, voteanywhere.org. There will be a link that will give you access to all of the information that's in the Florida Voter here. And also, it will provide information for you on where and how to vote. There are 3 ways to vote. You can vote by absentee ballot. You can do early voting. The polls are open ahead of time, ahead of Election Day for 2 weeks. And then, of course, voting on Election Day, and that's when you get the little sticker that says, I voted. And please do vote, but make your vote an informed vote. Thank you.